Hello everyone. For today's class, I have this pre-recorded video, and I'm going to have some discussion on the bright space. I want you guys to check and write a little bit about the question that I'm putting there, and I want to know your opinion and your discussion. If you remember in previous class, we talked about normally closed and normally open relays or switches. And if you remember, I explained that this is the kit that we have in the lab, and you have two switches that are operating based on the concept of normally open and normally closed. In this class, I'm going to explain about normally open particularly. And I'm going to ask you guys to discuss it on bright space, and then we are looking at the table of condition for normally open and how exactly they work. It is very important to learn about this very deeply because you are going to use it over and over and over. So I'm emphasizing on it. So this is the symbol that we use for normally open and normally close. This picture here, which looks like a capacitor to me, that looks like that is a symbol for normally open contacts or normally open switches. And this one here, which has a line that is connecting two plates together, that looks like a capacitor with a line between them, that is called normally closed. That is a symbol that we use. We use these symbols for control drawing. Later on in the lab, when you are using the software to program the PLC, you will see these symbols over there. There are two other symbols that we use. They look like coils, but they are actually representing some sort of output. And sometimes it's not the output that we might see on the kit. It might be intermediate output. I will explain when we get to that point. The software that we are using in the lab has this shape for the coil, but in some softwares you might see this symbol also. So now I'm going to show you how a control drawing is related to what we actually see in the lab. What we have in the lab is these switches. So we have this green switch and we have this red switch. Today we are only talking about normally open switches. So this green button here representing a normally open switch here, and then the coil here representing for example, for now I'm looking at the output. For example, a lamp here is a red lamp that is turned on. The way that we are drawing the control diagram, the control drawing, is we have two lines like this, and they are representing the power rail. It means that if we have connection from this line to this line, if the current is flowing from this line to this line, any output here will be activated. So now that I have this normally open here, normally open means that in normal condition there is no current flowing. Do you see that this line here is slightly thicker than this line? That means that the current is flowing here, but then there is this obstruction here. So there is no connection between this plate and this plate. So the current can't flow here unless this one is activated. What do I mean by activated? Means that we are manually pressing it down, pressing the switch down. So if the finger is pressing the switch down, so you will have current flowing through this contact. So the normally open will have high in the output, and that means that the current can come all the way to this output and activate this coil or this output, and then the lamp can turn on. Now let's see what do I mean exactly by this explanation. Here, the current is coming here, but there is no pressure on the switch. There is no holding it down thing, nothing is going on. So the normally open switch is turned off, is not activated, is in a normal condition. So the current can't come all the way here to activate this coil. So if this is represented by a lamp, the lamp will be turned off. In a condition that we have activation around the normally open switch, so we are pressing the switch down, it is activated. So we have high in the output of that contact or switch. So the current is actually flowing all through this line from this power rail to the other power rail. So this output here is activated. Either it is a motor, it is a lamp, whatever it is activated. It has power to operate. I'm putting that in a table to make it more clear. Now, I'm writing it in a very friendly language. What does the hand do? The finger is pressing the green switch down. What happens? What happens to the normally open relay? The current flows through the green switch. What happens to the coil? The coil is activated because the current is flowing through the coil. What happens to the lamp? The lamp turns on. Now, what happens to the finger? The finger is taken off the switch. Sorry if my language is confusing. I will fix that when you teach me how to say it better. So we are taking the hand off. There is no pressure on the switch, the green one. So the current doesn't flow. There is no current coming through that normally open switch. And then what happens to the coil? There is no current around the coil is not activated. What happens to the lamp? The lamp turns off. Now, there are two things that comes to mind. This table is showing the simple scenario. We are pressing the switch and then we are releasing it. Now, what happens if I hold it? I hold my finger down. The lamp stays on or goes off after a while. What do you think? I want you guys to discuss about it on the forum which I put on Brightspace. And also another question might come to mind. Why the lamp doesn't stay on when I take my finger off? Why it goes off at the same time? Why it doesn't work like the lamp that we have on the ceiling at home? We have a switch, we turn it on, and then we come back and we turn it off. Why this normally open switch doesn't work the same way as that switch that we have for turning on and off the ceiling lamp? I want you guys to discuss about this matter on Brightspace. I'm going to show you how to access that. So on the main page of the module, you go to week class 1 and then I have this section added. I will put the video that I'm recording right now in this section, week 1 class 2. And then we have this discussion topic. I want you guys type few sentences and express what do you think about this thread that I have here. Why the normally open switch works this way? Why it doesn't hold the current? Why it doesn't hold the lamp turned on? And what happens if I keep my finger down? The lamp stays on or goes off after a while. What happens to that? I want to see what do you think. I'm coming back this evening and check what you're doing in this discussion forum. Okay, thank you.